Well, we would love to start by wishing all of our viewers a very happy new year, but let's face it, for most of us it's been a pretty rubbish start to 2021 so far, and in the UK the weather is absolutely rubbish and miserable, just to add insult to injury. But we've got something here that we hope might make it just a tiny bit more bearable for those of us who are still riding in this weather and who want to have nice warm hands. This is the Forge MK2 heated winter riding glove. We came out with the first version of this back in winter 2018 as an exclusive collaboration between ourselves and the guys at Racer France to create what we believe to be the ultimate heated winter riding glove. And the brief was pretty simple. Although they were very good gloves in terms of heated riding gloves that kept you warm, they're always really cumbersome, not very ergonomic or good looking, and that meant that you lose a lot of feel on the bike. So you can lose feel by hands being cold, but equally if they're so thick that you don't have a lot of dexterity, then it's not that safe and it's certainly not that pleasurable to ride in. So we wanted something that basically ticked all the boxes, that was really warm, but also just really ergonomic and nice to wear, and of course being us, nice to look at too. So that's really what we have evolved from as a starting point, and the MK2 has a couple of key changes. It's got some style tweaks that we think refines it even further. We've integrated a hard knuckle protection on the back, but done so in a very subtle way, so you do get the benefits of it, but it doesn't look overly sporty, garish, or too street focused. It looks, I think, nice and refined, which should still appeal to most of our customers out there and the kinds of bikes that you guys and girls ride. We've also incorporated the ability to take a second battery if you want really long life from the heated element within the glove, and we've also slightly tweaked and revised the ergonomics, particularly around the opening of the glove. The predecessor was slightly narrower, and it did mean once you had the first glove on, it could be a bit fiddly to join up to the point with your sleeve on your jacket. We've tweaked this so many times. This is now perfect, and the ergonomics of it we think are really as good as they can be on a heated glove. So that's the kind of summary for those of you who were familiar with it before, but as a starting point for this glove, this is a £229 heated winter riding glove, and that's including the 7-volt lithium battery pack that comes with that in the package. And you can also, as I say, upgrade. So if you pay about £45 extra, you can get a second set of those batteries if you want really long life from that battery pack, or you can hook up to the bike. But the actual performance of the batteries, I think, just with a single battery that comes included at that price, is very impressive indeed. You have 3 standard heat settings and 1 boost heat setting, which is a little bit gimmicky. Let's just say there's 4 heat settings. So you turn it on by holding this little panel on the back down. It's very easy to operate, even with the other glove on, both gloves on. You can still do it just through the back of the glove on the go. So there's no fiddling around and risking getting it wrong. The lights are very clear, very visible. Everything's really obvious and intuitive. So you've got this little status LED at the bottom. The green means the battery's good, and red means it's low, it's about to run out. So when you first turn it on, you're on the 3rd of the 3 normal heat settings, the higher of the normal heat settings. And if you press this again, you're gonna go into boost mode where it cycles through, and that basically gives you double the amount of power output. So it halves the battery life from 3 hours for the higher of the 3 normal heat settings down to 1.5 hours on the boost. And then if you want to go back down to a lower heat setting, not really sure that you ever would bother, then you've got obviously 2 and 1, you go back up and so on. You just hold it down again to turn it off. So it's really very straightforward. Now, we don't even know what the claimed heat settings in terms of the longevity are. We've just measured it ourselves from use. So the boost setting lasting 1.5 hours, that's verified by us. It does do that. And I think that's really impressive actually, because it's a very high heat setting, and it lasts a lot longer than I thought it would on that. So my commute's about 45 minutes each way max in traffic, and that's therefore enough to actually get me there and back on one charge just about. If you do need to take it out to charge it when you get to the office, of course the actual charger comes included with the kit with the 2 prongs, so you can charge both the batteries at the same time. And you simply access the battery via this little tab on the inside of the cuff, Velcro opening, pulls out, simple connection point, and you plug it in, good to go. It takes 4 hours to charge if it's completely empty to being completely charged up and full, and simply pop it back in, put it back in the pocket, and it is a really quite a sort of flat, streamlined battery, so even with it on, you're not going to notice it. It's not going to create any kind of barrier point. If you opt for the double battery configuration, so you go for another set, then there is another little lead in there, and of course you hook both up. You probably want to put them long ways. Then it still doesn't impede massively in terms of the ergonomics. You're aware they're there, but even with a 12-ounce wax cotton sleeve, such as in the pictures, which is a Bellstaff Toolmaster Pro, I think it is. That's a very thick jacket. That still fits very neatly, and you don't notice too much once you start going that you've got those battery packs in there. If you've got one battery pack, you really don't notice it at all. And as I say, just really easy to operate on the go, and it's very clear to see what status mode you are in. As soon as you put them on, they're very, very comfortable. There's an immediate obvious heating coming through from the heated elements, so they don't take long to get going. Maybe you just give them like a half minute before you step out, and they'll be toasty warm in no time at all. When you flex your hand, you feel a pinch just at the very end of it, just as you want to. You don't want to get the gloves massively oversized, particularly as you're wanting to insulate and trap the heat here. The size guide is absolutely true, so it says medium for an 8-inch circumference around the wrist, and a large would be a 9. I'm here in the mediums, I'm just over the 8, and in terms of my actual measurement, and the mediums fit perfectly. You've got a really good length to the fingers, you don't have lots of excess fabric on the fingertips as you do in gloves that really just annoy me, that aren't made well. You don't have a pinch point between the index and the thumb, which is another problem we find on a lot of gloves. They flex really nicely. You've got this very, I think, stylish sort of rib section to the back, which looks nice and refined, and just the simple Velcro overlay for the cuff, just to secure it up nice and tight. So all in all, I think the ergonomics are as good as they can be. Without the heated element in it, these gloves, of course, still perform just as well as you would expect them to, being waterproof and breathable underneath this full goatskin leather outer. The only area of the glove that is not goatskin is where the battery is, and that just simply has a kind of soft shell fabric to it. And of course, that's still waterproof barrier as well as that. On the index finger, on either glove, you've got this little touchscreen element, so you can still use a smartphone or GPS on the go, so you don't have to take the gloves off, which of course means you're going to get cold quite quickly. So really, overall, we think this is a very accomplished glove. In terms of the pricing, it has increased slightly from the predecessor, but it remains, we think, one of the most price competitive gloves out there. If you want something that's full leather as a heated winter riding glove, then it is definitely the cheapest, and we think it stacks up really nicely. Take the heated element out, it extends easily through into spring. It's not so thick that it can only be used as a full-on winter glove, and we think that the looks of it are pretty understated. It's nice, good looking glove that will work on, I think, all the bikes that you guys ride. So let us know your thoughts, comments and feedback. These are in stock and available now, and really are the solution to anybody wanting to keep their hands as warm as possible. And just to add, I use these when I go skiing as well, and they are amazing. They are so much better than any ski gloves I've come across, and they're far more technical too. As motorcyclists, we tend to be far more picky, I find, than people in other athletic pursuits. So that's something to bear in mind. You can use these not just on a bike. So thoughts, comments and feedback. We know you guys are always brutally honest in your reviews, and we're really pleased with what we've done, so we hope you agree, but do let us know in that section, and stay tuned for more video reviews of the world's finest riding gear. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.